And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by Eric Thomas. And Eric Thomas writes, Sony announced yesterday that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse would be moving from October 22nd to June 2023. Give me a second. No! Damn it! Anyway, this is the second release date change, the original release date being April of 2022. Is Sony running into a production issue here? Where they need more time to make this movie than originally anticipated. Most animated movies need about 5 to 6 years to get made, while Sony looked at making 2 sequels to Spider-Verse in the span of 5 years originally. Did they rush it and are now realizing that? All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And damn it!
Sorry, John.
This is the worst news I've gotten today. Granted, if this is the worst news I get today, today's a pretty good day. But you guys know, if you watch the show at any kind of regularity, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think, is a top 10 greatest comic book movie ever made. I thought, and I'm not kidding, and I stand by it to this day, in 2018 when this movie came out, it's the same year that Black Panther came out and Avengers Infinity War came out. I will have this debate with anybody. I believe that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was the best comic book movie that year. I still believe that. And I think it's one of the 2 best Spider-Man movies ever made. Maybe even the best one, between that and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. Neither of which were Marvel productions, by the way. But either way, I love this. And this was a movie I am not ashamed to tell you I poo-pooed on the very notion of this movie. I said I thought this was a dumb idea going up to about a year before it came out. Okay, I mean, that's fine. But most people don't know Miles Morales. And then the first trailer came out, and I was like, animation style looks dumb to me. I was one of the very, very few people who thought the animation didn't look good. I'm like, the animation style doesn't look good to me, and why are they doing this? And then I saw it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why you take your expectations and you leave them at the door. Because I went and I saw this movie I was sure I wasn't going to like. And I walked out flabbergasted. I think I said it was like the first time I had come out of a movie since Schnepp had passed away, where I came out and I literally stood there going, God, I wish Schnepp could have seen this.
Oh,
Schnepp would have loved this.
He would have loved it.
It was like, and then such a great Stan Lee cameo in it, because I think this was the first. Was this not the first comic book movie that came out after Stan Lee passed? I can't remember exactly.
It might have been.
But they had a wonderful Stan Lee cameo in it, which was just fantastic. No refunds. It was great. And I love this movie. And when they announced that they were going to be doing another one, I absolutely flipped. Absolutely flipped. It's been pushed to 2023. This comes to us from the folks over at Deadline to write the following. Sony's animated sequel to the Oscar-winning movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is moving from October 7th of this year to June 2nd of 2023. The news is breaking just before the studio's presentation at CinemaCon next week, which we're about to talk about here in a few minutes. Meanwhile, the movie's sequel, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 2, is now dated for March 29th, 2024. The movies will screen in premium large formats and IMAX. The filmmakers behind the animated sequel is Joaquin Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thomas. The first movie made over $375 million worldwide. And this would be my first dedication to Chris Carr for why. For why? Why is this movie being delayed? Damn it. I still remember when the first teaser came out for that, and with that music and the colors, the palette, and everything. And I got so damn excited to look great. Then it was just not long ago, Rob, that they put out that whole, this little bit of footage from it, from assumingly the first act of the movie.
Like Spider-Man 2099.
Well, Spider-Man 2099, but when Gwen comes through and she's hanging out Miles' room, Miles acting all awkward. By the way, Miles clearly looks a little bit older now, because his body's a little bit bigger, so I think that's really great. And I'm like, okay, this wasn't long ago. I'm like, I got so excited. I can't help but think, Rob, that our viewer is right. This is probably a production issue. I mean, it did seem a little ambitious, even though I wish it could have come out last year.
Sure.
But my guess is here that this is exactly that. They're probably not up to schedule. They're probably falling behind a little bit. I don't think it has anything to do with problems with the film. I think this is exactly what our viewer wrote in and said this is probably a production issue line. Hey guys, we want to take a minute and thank the sponsor of today's video, the good folks at Keeps. Now look, you guys probably already know that 2 out of every 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're just 35 years old. Now that's where Keeps comes in, because Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. That means the guys that use it love it. Keeps offers a simple, affordable, and stress-free way to keep your hair. It's also low cost. Treatments start as low as just $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions for the 2 FDA-approved medications to prevent hair loss. That means treatment plans are affordable, typically half the cost of pharmacy prices. Keeps has everything your hair needs delivered straight to your door with discreet packaging and proven results. Remember, prevention is the key. Treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so the sooner you act, the better. When it comes to your hair, save more, spend less with Keeps. So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to Keeps, that's KEEPS.com/Campea to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's Keeps, KEEPS.com/Campea to get your first month free. Keeps.com/Campea. Anyway, Rob, where's your expectation level right now? What do you think about the move, and what do you think caused the move?
Well, I loved Into the Spider-Verse as well, and I want to. I look at it this way: I want to see these movies, John. I don't want to wait. I want to see them. But a good friend of ours, friend of our channel, was telling me that he was talking to a friend of his who was an exec at Paramount, and they were really worried that they weren't going to get Sonic 2 into theaters on time because the visual effects wouldn't be done. It wasn't anybody's fault, but because of COVID and everything, and there's just the talent and the tools are slammed. And I think a lot of what happened with Warner Brothers slate as they pushed it into 2023, like The Flash and the other films, I think this has been across the board. These movies, these films that are labor intensive, require a lot of effects artists, and make no mistake, even though it's an animated film, it requires a lot of effects artists to work on it. I think this is absolutely a production issue, a production pipeline issue. Everyone is trying to get these giant tentpole, very expensive movies out the door, and there's only a finite amount of talent that can work on these things. I think there's an effects pipeline backup, and I think that these delays, some of it's COVID related, some of it isn't, but these delays are absolutely production issues. There's nothing nefarious here. There's not a problem with the story. It literally, you only have so much time and so many people in a day to get the work done. And when it becomes apparent that they're never going to make their date because they don't want to spend, paying a crew to work 24/7 or having crews come in 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and you have people working, that becomes incredibly cost prohibitive very, very quickly. So I would imagine this is almost a year. It's a year push, right?
8 months.
8 months. Okay, that's a production issue, and I think that's what they're dealing with. And I think that's why a lot of these big budget, especially superhero films, are being delayed.
I remember, go back to 2020. I remember you and I having conversations on this show about the fact that, obviously we were in the depths of the pandemic, and all the movies are getting pushed, production was shut down. And I remember you and I said, the repercussions of all these movies having to move and all the productions being shut down, the repercussions of this are not just going to be when the pandemic ends. It's going to be for a few years after the pandemic ends.
Absolutely.
Number one, because movie schedules, there are already movies planned for 2022. Now movies that were going to come out in 2021 or sometimes 2020 are going to get pushed. It's going to create a huge backlog. But we also said there's going to become a production crunch because movies that we had a year and a half worth of movies that didn't get produced. And now they're trying to move. But the problem is a lot of movies, as far ahead as Hollywood plans things, there are a lot of movies who are already booking post-production houses, visual effects companies, sound studios, locations and sets. They're already booked for 2022. And now you're getting more of a backlog in there. And I think right now we are starting to feel that what's it called? The second earthquake, the aftershock. I feel right now in the production world, we're feeling the aftershock of the pandemic.
Totally
and we're
agree.
Probably going to get it for the next year or two.
And you know, I was talking on the next Designing Hollywood podcast, Linda Muir, who is the costume designer on The Northman. I interviewed her last night, and she was even talking about how the costume departments have to deal with COVID protocols and the sterilization of costumes and keeping them clean, and how it adds time and money, a lot of money to the budget. And so they're dealing with these in-place protocols, even at effects houses, in order to make sure that the spread of the disease, the pandemic, is curtailed. And that has been a huge issue. So that's all part of what you just said, the aftershock. And it's just something we're going to have to deal with.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Damn it. What do you guys think about the fact that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 has unfortunately been delayed from October to where was it? July or June, whatever. It's being pushed into 2023. I mean, it's kind of I get it. I do. We're still going to get the movie, but I'm bummed out about it. How do you guys feel about it? Whatever you think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.